what's up, guys? I've noticed. So I was watching this video by this guy Duplee. It's about the 7 levels of rappers, and I figured, what a nice concept. I was gonna say it's inspired me to talk about the 7 levels of fighting game players, but that's just an outright lie. I just stole the concept altogether. Didn't notice anyone in the FGC content creator space doing it, and I figured it's such a brilliant concept to go over. I might just as well rip it right the fuck. So we're gonna go over the first level, starting in the beginning. We're gonna go over 1 through 7. I'm gonna go over what I think differentiates on the levels of these players. The first level is basically the absolute newcomer. These are the babies. Those are the players that never touched a fighting game seriously. They are still confused on the difference between a 3D fighter, a 2D fighter, an arena fighter, a Smash game, or whatever. They don't know anything about fundamentals. They don't know any of the glossary. They don't know what people are talking about when they talk about advanced concepts. They don't even know what fundamentals are. You're gonna have to tell them to hold back to block most of the time. They're mashing, they're trying. They figured that the faster you push a button and the harder you push that button, unlike the Street Fighter 1 arcade cabinets, it's gonna deal more damage, you're gonna go out faster and whatever. So you can skip this level entirely. They don't know what a special move is. They don't know what frames are. They don't know what an anti-air is. This is just a total newcomer. It's not to diss on them. It's the first time they pick it up. Welcome them. Teach them how the world works, Justin Wong style. Try not to be too rough on them. Level 2 is what I like to call someone who's touched Street Fighter before or Mortal Kombat. They understand what the concept of a fighting game is. They know what a special move is. They might even be consistent on special moves. I mean, hell, dogs can do fucking Hadoukens.
Holy shit!
They understand the core principles of how it works. They know they have to hold back to block or a block button. They understand they need to drag the HP of the other guy down. They know what a special move is. They know what a super is. In some cases, they might even be able to do them. The main difference between level 1 and level 2 is that they actually understand the core concepts of a fighting game. I didn't say fundamentals. The reason is they don't know about fundamentals. They understand that if they need to attack the other guy and the other guy has to die or whatever. And this is where it's going to be a big difference between level 2 and level 3. It's going to be a massive jump in skill gap. But for now, comparing level 1 to level 2, it's basically, they understand the buttons, they understand how to block, they understand there's such things as special moves, they understand there's supers, they know basic how the game works, but they don't have a game plan. They don't have consistency in their inputs. It's still like a newcomer. This is like your nephew. You know your nephew, you're at the Christmas party, and he's like, I'm the best at Street Fighter, and you're like, oh buddy, you're gonna have a rough night tonight. This is gonna be fun. Let me teach you something real quick. This is your nephew, this is your uncle who's played Street Fighter 2 or Marvel vs. Capcom in the arcade days at the pizza joint back in his neighborhood. So if we go over them, they understand core basic fundamentals. Not fundamentals in the foot season, whatever, but they understand life bars, damage, all that stuff, that good stuff. They understand what the difference is between Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Well, they might confuse them, but Street Fighter and Tekken for sure. Arena fighters, they understand it's not the same thing as a 2D traditional fighting game or a 3D game, and they understand the difference between platform fighters like Smash or Naruto or Ultimate Ninja Storm, something like that. So they're more familiar with the genre. They're not experienced enough to be competent or to even compete at medium level, but they understand the difference between just a regular brawler, a 2D fighter, a 3D fighter, or whatever. And now we're going up to the next level, which is going to be a massive skill jump in difference between level 3 and level 2. So the level 3 in terms of skill gap is where you get people that are consistent with their specials, consistent with their supers. They understand how to input anti-air. They know what an anti-air is. This is basically someone who plays fighting game but they're not consistent at playing them. So they'll pick a new fighting game up, they'll play, let's say, 20 hours of it. They might be decent enough to clear like the arcade modes and everything, but they just don't invest the time to become good at a competitive level. So they understand what fundamentals are. They understand, they know the rock paper scissors nature of the game. Like they know that grabs beat blocking and that strike beats grabs and whatever. You know, they understand what a high is. They understand what an overhead attack is. They understand what a low is. They know about shoryukens. They know about invincibility. They know pretty much everything they have to know to be decent on the single player level. So we're talking basic fundamentals. Basically, we're going to go over what they don't know that differentiate them from a higher level. So they're not familiar with game plans yet. They're not familiar with frame traps. They're not familiar with just having a core identity on or any advanced setups or concepts. But they're on the next level on top of that, but they just don't have the higher knowledge to be decent at a competitive level. And this is where we're going to be in the more controversial aspect of this little video here. It's when we're going to go over what a level 4 is, and I'm going to be real with you guys. This is where I believe I am. This is the intermediate level. This is where most of you guys are, because level 4 and 5 are pretty similar in my opinion and what I'm going to categorize them as. And don't feel insulted. You guys are pretty much all here. It's where the most wide variety of players ends up. Those who are familiar with the FGC or consume FGC content. So let's go over what a level 4 is. Level 4 is the player that is decent and just has the competence level to be competitive against high level players, which we're going to go over later. But this means you know most of the fundamentals. You're familiar with most of the concepts. You might not have that higher level knowledge of like extremely ethereal or like very dark, obscure knowledge, like those mythical weird stuff you're going to see in level 5, which is basically super advanced or situational techniques that are privy to only the most well-learned of hermetic lab rats. But basically a level 4 player is has skills enough to compete at the highest level. They might even reach the highest level in their preferred game. This is your Grandmasters or whatever, your Tekken Prime God or whatever. I don't play Tekken. But so yeah, they can manage to play at the highest level against even pro players. They might even steal games from pro players. They can do pretty much anything, but they're not consistent, or they don't have the will or the time to put in the grind to be at that pro player level. This is where most content creators that don't have a background as pro players tend to end up in. This is your Maximilian dude, and I'm sure he wouldn't be insulted by being called that. He calls himself a casual, which, I mean, clearly he's not. But this is what I mean. This is, you can make it to Celestial Floor and Guilty Gear. You even steal games from Leffen. You steal games from whoever your favorite player is, but you don't steal sets. You feel me? Like, you'll win 2 out of 10 games. You'll end up like 8-2, but you still manage to steal those games. But you wouldn't win. These might even include some like secret boss at your local, the guy that steals rounds from your top level players, and that's perfectly fine. But the only difference between these players and pro level players, in my opinion, is consistency and the will to grind to reach those new level. It's mostly lack of matchup knowledge, lack of taking self-criticism, lack of just consistency in most of their game plans, and it's no diss. I mean, this is where I tend to end up, so I'm fine with it. I think this is where most of everyone ends up, because I included basically from like gold to grandmasters or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go over level 5, which is basically the twin to this one in my opinion, and this is the lab rats. So level 5, why I think they're a higher level player of a level 4 is because they have more arcane knowledge of what constitutes the mechanics of a fighting game. These are your Desk. These are your Clayton Chapmans. This is your Twitter video monster that's gonna do like weird cookie stuff on extremely situational stuff. Just they might not have the background or the level of skills to compete, or quite frankly, they might even not like playing the game as just what the bare game offers. They're more like express their creativity through labs, through setups, through extremely convoluted combo videos. And I think just the sheer knowledge they have puts them above a level 4. But if I have to be honest, I think there's more glory to actually win those matches or to know like every fundamentals. Or personally, I think it's more impressive, but I really love the combo guys. I love the Desk stuff, is always extremely amazing. But it's just, if I have to ask the general populace who's the best player of all time, they're not going to go over like, yeah, Desk's really good. Like, yeah, Desk is amazing, he's fantastic, but is he a good player, or is he like a combo lab rat stuff? So yeah, I think they're pretty much on the same lane. I know I said 5 is a bit over level 4, but I think it's mostly due to knowledge and just how to, maybe execution wise too, they have a higher level of execution. So that's pretty much why I think they're basically on the same level, with a little edge for level 5 guys, except for guys like Clayton Chapman, who's actually won tournaments and he's extremely good at that guy could be higher, but I think of him mostly due to his technical abilities, so that's where I mentioned him. Alright, so we're going to go over to level 6. Level 6 is pretty easy to understand what the step up is. It's just basically you're a pro player. I've put in the thumbnail Lord Knight, and it's no diss to him. I think he's personally one of my favorite content creators, but he's also an extremely decent BlazBlue player, and he has like high run at Evo and other tournaments, and he ended up in most. He did a lot of top 8 runs. So this is an highly skilled player. He's won tournament like majors, and he's done extremely well placed runs in Evo. So why is he not like level 7? It's basically because level 7 is GOATs, and I think he and other guys in his type of brackets, which are extremely competent and skillful pro players that have won, they're basically the epitome of what a fighting game player is, but there's just an extra layer on top, and this is just like, you have to have an extra layer on all the sports and everything. So, but I know this, I think he's one of the best. I love his stuff. Same thing with, I'd put Diaphone in there too. He's more of a newer player, but he's extremely he's versatile in what he learns. He learns extremely quickly. He's performing extremely well in everything. I mean, you just saw him in Grand Blue Versus or in the 2A Scare recently. He's phenomenal. So that's the type of players. They have a clear understanding of fundamentals, which they can transfer to other games, and they learn games quickly, and they perform under pressure at the highest level. Even some of them might be Evo winners. Like I'd put, well, I mean, Mango's the GOAT, but Mango might be in there because he doesn't have his Trevo. But yeah, he's won Evo runs and everything. And these are like, if you're a level 4 player, this is what you should, and you want to be like known for a pro player, this is the level of players you should emulate yourself through. These are the guys that put themselves through the grind. They have the consistency, they have the execution, they have the knowledge to perform at the highest level. And of course, there's just one extra layer over that. And logically speaking, it's just simple to understand that if pro player level 6 is the epitome of what a fighting game player is, the next step is just to be able to perform at the highest level and put in those sought after title reigns and be known in most categories. So level 7 is easily just the GOATs. And in the GOATs, I put in Justin Wong, Sonic Fox. Sonic Fox is just incredible. Daigo is known mostly for how he influenced the culture around playing fighting games and just popularized the medium. These are your even OG guys, the everyone that's won tournaments and influence, like Alex Valle, which is, you have text named after the guy. They're influential, they are known. And you have to have the level of reverence for these players. But if you win consistently at the highest level, I mean, Evo, that's top of notch. That's the top of the mountain, and you climb it casually multiple times in multiple different games. I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore and the first face up there is not Sonic Fox, I mean, you're not being honest with yourself. This is easily one of the greatest players of all time, and as painful as it is to say, Leffen too. Leffen is one of the GOATs. It just is what it is. He's just that talented. I mean, he can go from one of the like just slaying the 5 gods in platform fighters like Smash and go over to anime fighters like Guilty Gear Strive and perform at the highest level and win multiple Evos, or be in the top 8 or top 4 or top 2 of the multiple Evos. That's at least 2 extremely different games, and you perform at the highest level. I mean, that's GOAT status. It just is what it is. So all the praise to these guys. Justin Wong, personal hero of mine, just going against counterculture and just playing the lamest way possible is just, that's another level of knowledge. Is you know how to get under your opponent's skins and perform at the highest level. And he won in multiple different games. He'll tell you himself he doesn't have the best execution. It doesn't matter. His knowledge base is through the roof. So yeah, shout out to these guys. Give them a like and follow. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a riff off no scripts, just going off the bat here. And I guess I'll catch you in the next one. And shout out to Duplee for his video, because watch that. That's a true banger. I mean.